It's so interesting. They're trying to move up to get Jaden Daniels, and Adam's saying that's not happening. So you got to scratch that one from the books here. All right, Matt Miller's final mock dropped today. He has quarterbacks going 1, 2, 3, as you see. It'd be the 4th time that's happened in the common draft era, dating back to 1967. He's got J.J. McCarthy 5th to the Vikings after a trade. There's never been 4 QBs taken in the top 5, and later in the round, the Raiders go back and they get Michael Penix Jr. So, Matt, take us through this trade in your mock and then why you have the Raiders going to get Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah, the way the board fell, Laura, I think the Raiders are in a spot after a pretty good free agency period. Remember, they filled their biggest need with Christian Wilkins, the defensive tackle from Miami Dolphins, one of the best young players in the NFL at that position. So they're able to send 2 second-round picks to go up from 47 overall to this spot and get Michael Penix Jr. So when the board falls this way, and I do hear consistently that the Raiders like Michael Penix Jr. In fact, I hear it so much that you can't tune this noise out. We should have asked Shefty about this because the Raiders have been so connected to Penix throughout the last week, really, talking to teams around the league. There is a belief that as coaches got involved with this process, Michael Penix's stock really rose because coaches see he's a beautiful thrower of the football. He's the best deep ball thrower in the draft. When the pocket is clean, he's pretty and he's perfect. So in this mock draft, at 13, I had the Raiders get a right tackle to shore up the offensive line, and at 27, they get their quarterback of the future for the Antonio Pierce regime.
When the pocket is clean, though, is so key.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said yesterday, Matt, there's a little Jared Goff in him that when you protect him, he could throw it just about as good as anybody. Matt, I'm going to ask you a question, put you on the spot. If he didn't have the 4 season-ending injuries, is he higher than 27 for you when it comes to your overall player ranking?
I would say no. And honestly, I've heard the injuries aren't an issue. You know, the 2 ACL injuries, it's been more than 2 years. There's studies that have shown after 2 years an ACL is very unlikely to be injured again. I've told both shoulders came back clean. He had one to his right shoulder, one to his left throwing shoulder. Everything I've heard was that the medicals were pretty good on him, that it's not a concern. But he turns 24 years old this weekend. That is a little bit of an issue for me. For a guy who, he came on strong so late, and he was with Kalen DeBoer so long. He was with him at Indiana. He was with him at Washington. So I think you do have to ask the question, did it click late because of you as a player, or did it click late because of your familiarity with the system and these elite wide receivers that he had?
I think if the Raiders walk away from the first round and either trade back and acquire Michael Penix or take him at 13, you walk away and feel like they win as far as the first round. Maybe not the elite winner, but they win. Michael Penix, Matt, I disagree. I would say that if Michael Penix didn't have his injury history, we would be talking about 5 quarterbacks going in the top 5. I think he's that pure and natural of a thrower. And so I think the Raiders have to pay attention to the fact that Devontae Adams is also 31. At some point, they have to pay off that trade with the high-end quarterback.
Yeah, and also you look at Michael Penix Jr., and we watched the Raiders win last year with Aiden O'Connell, so you don't necessarily need a superstar at the position, but we're talking about a quarterback that can make every throw, someone who has shown that he's the leader. The poise that we saw late in the Oregon game and what was a great comeback after freestyling on the sideline. I think the big thing here is if you can move up late and get Michael Penix, you make and I'm not saying he's going to be Lamar Jackson, you make a Lamar Jackson-like move late in the first round, and I do believe you have your franchise quarterback for the next 10 years.
Matt, you don't have Bo Nix in your final mock draft going in the first round. Why is that?
I wanted to get him in there badly, but I couldn't find a spot. And I think, maybe we would see another trade, a team like the New York Giants, if they miss out at 6 overall. The Los Angeles Rams are the team I keep hearing that they have big connections to Bo Nix. Les Snead, Bo Nix's dad, have a connection. He's the type of accurate thrower that they would like. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did see some action where maybe a team comes up to the early 2nd round to get Bo Nix if the board were to fall this way. But he was the odd man out in this mock draft. I think a lot of teams like him, but I haven't heard of any teams that have a true round 1 grade on him as things stand right now.
Yeah, I think if Bo Nix doesn't go 12 to Denver, I do see that there is a chance for him to fall back a little bit.
Yeah, he's one of those that's kind of been a little bit up and down with what we've heard lately.